Hi, I'm Mayor Rusty Bailey, and I want to tell you about mail theft and how serious a problem it is, and often how it's a precursor to identity theft. So join me for a conversation with Riverside Police Department on how you can help reduce mail theft in our community.
Our guest this segment, and all this month we're talking about safety. Safety for the residents and the guests that visit the city of Riverside or the surrounding areas. And one of the issues, and I've actually heard about this, I know people that this has happened to in my neighborhood, and that is the theft of mail theft, for a number of different reasons we'll touch on. Our guest is Riverside Police Officer William Outlaw. Officer, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's nice to have you here because we've got some questions for you about mail theft.
Sure.
And it's, mail theft, man, it doesn't discriminate. It's every neighborhood. We got 26 neighborhoods in the city, and I'm sure, as the mayor, I've heard from almost all of those neighborhoods in terms of this issue that we have, this crime that we have, and it is a federal crime, right?
Yes, it is.
So, what is it that we can do locally to prevent this from happening?
Well, one of the things we like to tell people is that definitely they'll be very vigilant. If you see something, say something. Some of the things that we ask people to do is definitely go out and retrieve their mail daily.
Yeah.
The United States Postal Service has a new program which is called Informed Delivery. And what that basically does is what the citizens would do is contact their local post office, sign up first of all, and request that whenever they are expecting mail, that the Postal Service will email them, let them know that their mail is en route. So that's one of the things you can do. Another thing you do if you live in some of the neighborhood communities where there are collection boxes, is again, some of the boxes that here in the city are very old and not as strong as the new ones. If they have a homeowners association, they can get better boxes and request
Those
better
are the common
lighting.
boxes where they have multiple,
Like in apartments
slots
or condo
Correct.
complexes, right?
Right. Those seem to be the ones that are getting broken into most. So if we can get those boxes replaced with stronger boxes, if they live in the communities that have that, then that's a good idea as well.
Yep.
I'm wondering, as we talk about mail theft, because it has become a major issue in some areas.
Yes.
More in some than others, but it brings up the question, why? What are they trying to, in my head, it was always that they wanted checks out of the mail. They don't want my bills, trust me. So the question is, what are they trying to get out of the mailbox? Is it primarily identity theft, or are there other reasons?
Well, it's kind of a combination of both. Even though we're in 2017, people still send cash in the mail. Christmas, Thanksgiving, holidays, birthdays. So you're still receiving currency in the mail. Also, they're trying to get, as you mentioned earlier, your bills. They're getting credit cards. They're getting statements, and with that information, we get into identity theft, where if you're getting bank statements in, your bank statement, if you look at your own, it has your account numbers, has your address. Some have your social security numbers. So once they obtain all that information, then they can now pose as you and open up certain accounts.
So if a person believes that that's happened, the mail's been stolen, they didn't get it for a couple days or a week or something, where's that bill? What do they do? How do they prevent identity theft from happening, if that's possible?
Well, the first thing we do, if they're expecting a mail or a bill and they have not received it, to contact the debtor, if it's AT&T, if it's Verizon, whatever the case would be, contact them, let them know they have not received the bill. If they're told that it has been received, that they've already shipped it out, check the mailbox. If it's still not there, then definitely, or if you believe you've been a victim of identity theft, make a report to your local police department. Check your bank statements to see if there's any fraudulent charges on your bank statements. And if you notice that, again, make the police report to your local agency, but also make a report to the Postal Service as well, because they're investigating as well.
Well, and you just touched on what I was going to ask. Actually, you touched on two things I was going to ask. And that is, one, obviously watch your bills, your ATM, your credit cards, all of your accounts that you might use to charge things.
Correct.
But you mentioned that the U.S. Postal Service is involved in investigation, and that's really kind of where I'm curious. What role does the U.S. Postal Service play, not only in investigation, but in following up prosecution? Is that all local PD, or do they play a role with that at the federal level too?
Well, typically what happens is, depending on the amount of mail theft that a particular individual has the crime they've committed, it'll be submitted to the postal inspector. At that time, they'll make the final determination whether or not they're going to charge this individual with a federal crime. So there are some instances where it doesn't meet their criteria, and it'll just stay at a local level.
Yeah, and you know, this happens all across the city in every neighborhood. What can neighbors do to help each other out? Because that is the first line of defense in many ways. When you know the fastest first responder is your neighbor.
Right.
You know, the police are coming, but if you got somebody next door that's keeping their eyes out, you know, on the streets, can you encourage that type of behavior, neighborhood watches and things?
We do. And Riverside has a lot of neighborhood watches. We actually encourage them to do that because, again, you know, the more individuals in their neighborhoods take ownership of that is going to help the police department. If you see something, say something, you see suspicious vehicles in the neighborhoods, you see cars or individuals walking around, please call our non-emergency number at the time, the police department. We'll come out and investigate what's going on. But definitely, we encourage them to get into we encourage them to get into neighborhood watch programs.
Yeah. Is there any commonality between these thieves, these male thieves out there, that you can tell the public about to keep an eye out for? You know, that they're walking the neighborhood and, you know, they're driving the neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? Is there any commonality with these thieves that we can keep our eyes out for?
Well, what I found is most of the individuals or most of these male thefts are occurring at between midnight and 3 or 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
So if you are an early riser and you're heading to work and you see a vehicle parked by the mailbox or parked down the street that you're not familiar with, if you get an opportunity to take a license plate number down, or just, again, call your police department, because the police department works, we're 7 days a week.
24/7?
24/7, 365 days a year.
On.
So give us a call. We have officers go out and communicate and talk to the individual and find out what their purpose in the neighborhood is.
Well, and one of the things I would say is, obviously, if you are going on vacation, call your local post office and do a mail stop.
If you are planning on going on vacation, definitely you can contact your local police agencies and have them go by and do an extra check or neighborhood watch, or just check your residence as well. And one of the things I found is a lot of individuals put their everything on Facebook if they're going to wherever they're traveling at. And if you're doing that, the criminals are also accessing those websites, so they know you're going out of town.
Take your skiing pictures and post them when you get back.
When
There's
you do
a date
that,
associated with those posts, right?
When you do that, you're letting everyone know that, hey, I'm out of town, no one's here, my house is open.
Officer
Thanks, Officer
Outlaw, great information. Appreciate your stopping by and sharing.
No problem, sir.
With us.
Appreciate you having me.
Again, I need to thank our guest this time around, Riverside Police Officer William Outlaw, for stopping by. Mayor Bailey, always great to see you, sir.
Here we go.
Another segment in the can. This is Riverside Monthly with Mayor Bailey. I'm your host, Steve Brazel, and we'll talk to you next time.